Now that the world is awash in more kryptonite than ever, how will the Man of Steel keep peace when every 2-bit thug has a kryptonite shank? Well, let's hop into the pages of Superman Unlimited issue number 2 and find out what happens next, shall we? So then, continuing on from the last issue, the Daily Planet is expanding its influence like never before. Today, they're opening brand new satellite offices in Gotham, Markovia, and even Gorilla City, just to name a few. The real problem child of this brand new expansion project turns out to be, you guessed it, El Caldero. That strange little city-state that ended up finding itself filthy rich following all that kryptonite falling to Earth. Lois and Troop go to meet the president of this place, a rather over-the-top world leader by the name of Castillo, and honestly I had to record this bit 5 times. I kept wanting to call him Callisto like the wrestler. You see, Castillo demands that his Daily Planet be different than all the others. He wants his globe to be made of pure solid kryptonite, an eternal symbol to Caldero's brand new greatness. Lois says, geez, if you do that, don't be surprised when Superman doesn't swing on by to help you next time there's a crisis. El Presidente doesn't want Lois and Troop to get it twisted. They love Superman here in Caldero. I mean, after all, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have their new fortune, and to honor him, they've opted to put Superman on their brand new national currency. Oh look, it's a fun little reference to the first Superman comic. Hell, the nation loves him so much they decided to put Krypto the Super Dog on a coin. Oh my god, they made actual real crypto coins, holy shit. Though it's clear not everyone is so stoked about the country's brand new bounty as a group of high-tech thieves attempt to steal the globe for themselves. Thankfully, Caldero has their own force of heroes in a group of elite soldiers called the Krypto-Knights. I kept wanting to call them the Emerald Knights, but then I was reminded, oh no, wait, that's a Green Lantern thing. These Krypto-Knights prove to be a well-oiled machine, well-armed and disciplined. They make short work of the thieves, though they do end up dropping a rather distressing turn of phrase when they refer to President Castillo as their king. But wait, I thought you were like a president. You guys have democratic elections here, right? Only for Castillo to be like, oh, that's just a little joke we have between us. You see, they call me the Kryptonite King, which is definitely not going to be my supervillainous code name. You can definitely trust me, I promise. Wink. Now, back in the States, kryptonite and its long-reaching implications are still everything anyone can talk about. We are reintroduced to Jack Ryder, yes, that's right, the Creeper, who is interviewing a woman for his podcast about how kryptonite seeping into the water might very well have affected her livestock, mutating a goat into having 2 heads. Though before they can officially take the interview any further, Clark Kent actually ends up chiming in. It seems that Jack Ryder's podcast network is also a subsidiary of the new Daily Planet, meaning that everything he says is about to get fact-checked, mainly that goat is too old to have been affected by the brand new kryptonite that came to Earth, and also that the lady in question here is just kind of dumb and making stuff up for the attention. Though it is weird that they paint Jack Ryder here as like a crazy Alex Jones type, when as comic readers we know full well that extended exposure to kryptonite radiation is actually bad for you. I mean, they don't explicitly say it's not in this issue, just that this lady was lying in this particular situation, and Jack probably should have done a little bit more research himself before putting her on air. Now, elsewhere in the city, Knockout, probably one of my favorite lesser-known DC supervillains, is assisting some intergang thugs in robbing a gold transport for Minnie Mannheim, who is either the wife or daughter of Bruno Mannheim. Not sure yet, she seems like a new character. Superman shows up to stop the robbery, and while at first he thinks this is going to be business as usual, things quickly end up taking a turn for the worse when one of the thugs pulls out a gun with kryptonite bullets. Superman knew something like this would inevitably end up happening, but unfortunately, years worth of superhero muscle memory betray him in this moment. Usually when someone takes a shot at Superman, he stands his ground, absorbs the bullet, and makes sure no one else gets hit. Here though, the bullet actually does end up hurting him, and hurting him real bad too. Thankfully, the thugs don't have a ton of kryptonite bullets. They are still very expensive, though they also have kryptonite shivs and knuckles, meaning that Superman isn't out of the woods yet. Thankfully, he has a trump card up his sleeve in the form of his brand new golden aura that we saw at the end of the previous issue. But wait, what is the deal with the golden aura? Well, for that, we actually end up going back in time 3 whole days. As Batman goes on to explain, this brand new golden form may actually be a mutation of Superman's already existing powers. Essentially, when he's threatened with kryptonite, the golden aura takes effect, supercharging all of his cells with solar energy. In in doing so actually making him invulnerable to kryptonite, which sounds great on paper. Unfortunately, this form doesn't last forever, maybe about 3 minutes tops. And much like his last new power, the solar flare, once the golden form is done, Superman is incredibly weakened, to the point of basically being human. However, unlike the solar flare, not only is Superman weakened, but he can also still actually be hurt by kryptonite in this post-golden form, meaning he basically has one get-out-of-jail-free card before becoming incredibly screwed. By God, this is so shown in anime, isn't it? You have one special super awesome form, but don't use it too often because if you spam it, it's gonna hurt ya. Superman opens the 9 gates and uses his Kaioken golden form to make short work of the intergang thugs. He doesn't go the full 3 minutes, but he is ultimately incredibly weakened, and it's here the story actually gets really interesting. You see, Superman knows what the golden form does to him. We as the readers know, but the people in the story don't know yet. Superman is so smooth and so slick, he actually gets Knockout to completely stand down and give up just by giving her a firm talking to as Superman. And I mean, hey, why would she have any reason to not believe him, right? He's Superman. It's in all the chaos, though, one of the intergang thugs actually manages to give Superman the slip. He has one last kryptonite bullet left, and he's about to make it count, only for him to be stopped by the coming of Jack Ryder's wacky fourth wall breaking alter ego, the Creeper, who was just trying to enjoy his big belly burger and get over getting embarrassed on TV. Creeper actually proves to be smarter than most people, though. He watched that whole exchange and decides to test the theory about whether or not Superman is hurt by blowing a spitball at him. And you know what? Not only does it work, but it actually ends up making Superman flinch. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but there just so happens to be a streamer on the scene, a member of the new News Boys Legion, that's Boy B-O-I, by the way, who captures the whole thing on her phone. Meaning that despite Superman's best efforts to try and keep this whole thing under wraps, it looks like his secret might be getting out there sooner rather than later. If nothing else, though, Clark decides to take this opportunity to actually meet Jack at his favorite watering hole and apologizing for embarrassing him on TV, or was it a podcast? It's actually very unclear what kind of show Jack Ryder is doing. In a show of good faith, Jack decides to share with Clark some interesting insight he has into this whole kryptonite business. Mainly, hey, if Intergang had access to kryptonite for their weapons, why did they even bother stealing gold in the first place? It's almost as if there's some mysterious hand out there desperately trying to control and manipulate the new kryptonite resource market, and you won't be surprised to find out that that person is none other than President Castillo, who vows to shut up Ryder and anyone else who would be screwing with his nation's brand new cash cow, even if that means paying old-timey Superman foe the Toy Man to make mischief and take out his enemies once and for all as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Superman Unlimited issue number 2, everybody. And while I admitted back in the first issue I wasn't exactly how sure I felt about this brand new Dan Slott series setting up a status quo where there's more kryptonite on Earth now than ever, I think issue 2 went a long way to actually winning me over on the concept. I like the idea that this is much bigger than just a Superman problem. I like they're treating it like a real deal resource arms race. I like the nice mix of old and new when it comes to villains. Obviously Castillo and the Krypto-Knights are going to be bad, but if that means I also get to spend more time with the Mannheims and Knockout and even the return of Toyman in a big bad way, sign me up. I'm also really loving the idea of Jack Ryder the Creeper as a supporting character in a Superman book. I mean, I guess it makes a ton of sense. They're all news people, right? So obviously they would run in the same circles. If anything, it's surprising we haven't seen more stories like this before. Superman's new golden form does just kind of feel like the solar flare all over again, but Dan Slott is at least smart enough to know to kind of hang that lampshade in the story itself with characters saying, yeah, it's a lot like that. So even if it is repetition, I can't exactly get too mad at it. Overall, I would actually give this one a very positive 8 out of 10. Man, we are eating well as Superman fans right now, aren't we? Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.